Have you ever loved something so deeply that you were willing to destroy your own life for it? Tonight's story is about two men, two magicians, whose obsession for greatness didn't just make them legends, it turned them into monsters. This is The Prestige. Let me take you back to London, a time when theaters were filled with gas lamps, velvet curtains, and the illusion that anything was possible. Two young magicians worked together behind the scenes of larger shows. Robert Angier, handsome, charming, the kind of man who could win a crowd with a smile. And Alfred Borden, quiet, guarded, brilliant, and always thinking 3 steps ahead. They weren't rivals yet. Not at first. They were friends. They shared dreams of becoming the greatest magicians in the world. But one tragedy changed everything. During a dangerous water escape trick, Angier's wife, Julia, performed as the assistant. Borden tied the knots around her wrists before she was lowered into the tank. But something went wrong. She couldn't free herself. By the time the tank was smashed open, it was too late. Julia was gone. Angier looked at Borden with a kind of grief that transforms into hatred. He whispered only one question. "What knot did you tie?" Borden didn't answer. Maybe he didn't know. Or maybe he never wanted to reveal the truth. From that moment, a friendship became a war. Borden started performing on small stages first. His magic was raw but genius level. Simple tricks turned extraordinary by his creativity. Angier, still drowning in grief, couldn't tolerate Borden's success. He started sabotaging Borden's shows, sneaking into theaters, ruining his acts. And Borden? He struck back. One night, when Angier tried performing a bullet catch trick, Borden stepped forward from the crowd. A single second of anger, and the gun misfired. Angier's hand was shattered forever. Their rivalry had become blood. But then, Borden created something unbelievable. A trick called the Transported Man. He entered a door on one side of the stage, and in the blink of an eye, he appeared from a door on the opposite side. No wires, no trapdoors, no doubles. The audience went insane. Night after night, the applause shook the theater. Angier watched from the shadows, jaw clenched, heart burning. How is he doing it? It wasn't jealousy anymore. It was obsession. He had to know the secret. He followed Borden. He spied on him. He sent assistants to steal notebooks. But the truth always slipped away. Angier decided, if Borden wouldn't reveal the secret, he would create something even better. Borden's stolen notebook mentioned one name, Nikola Tesla, living in the snowy mountains of Colorado Springs. Angier traveled across the world, believing Tesla held the key to impossible magic. Tesla, an eccentric genius, saw Angier's desperation and agreed to build a machine. A machine that could create illusions no magician had ever dreamed of. But what Tesla created wasn't an illusion. The machine didn't teleport anything. It duplicated it. The first time Angier tested it, he found himself staring at an exact copy of his own hat, then copies of cats. Then the truth hit him. He had the power to create another version of himself. But the question was terrifying. If you duplicate yourself, which one is the real you? Angier didn't care. He wanted to beat Borden at any cost. Angier returned to London with the machine and created the most unbelievable trick in history. The real transported man. Every night, he stood on the stage. The machine buzzed with electricity. A flash of light filled the theater, and Angier disappeared. Instantly, he appeared high up in the balcony. The audience screamed with excitement. Borden watched every show, confused and furious. He knew something unnatural was happening. Angier finally had the applause he always craved. People worshipped him. He was a legend. But what the audience didn't know, every night, behind the stage, a trapdoor opened. And below, a tank waited. A drowning man gasped for air. A man who was Angier. The duplicate appeared in the balcony. The original died in the tank. Every single night, Angier sacrificed himself to become his own illusion. Desperate to uncover Angier's trick, Borden sneaked backstage one night. He opened the wrong door, and there it was, the tank, a body inside. And suddenly, guards swarmed the room. Borden was arrested for Angier's murder. He begged, saying it wasn't what it looked like, but no one listened. He was sentenced to death. His life collapsed. He had a young daughter who cried for him. He had a wife who had died after years of emotional turmoil, because Borden always lived like he had two different versions of himself. And this was the secret Angier never understood. On the night before Borden was to be executed, Angier, alive but hiding behind another identity, visited him. Borden, broken, whispered, "You sacrificed everything for your trick." Angier whispered back, "And you? You were never alone, were you?" See, Borden did have a secret. He wasn't one man. He was two identical brothers living a single life, sharing one identity. One performed the trick. The other waited behind the stage. One loved his wife. The other loved another woman. That was why he could never answer which knot he tied that night with Julia, because even he didn't know. Angier stared at him, humiliated. He had drowned himself dozens of times, while Borden only needed loyalty, sacrifice, and love between two brothers. Borden was hanged, or so everyone thought. The next night, Angier stood in the abandoned theater, admiring the rows of water tanks filled with the drowned versions of himself. The door creaked open. A shadow stepped inside. A familiar voice whispered, "You don't know how to live without all this, do you?" It was Borden's brother, the surviving twin. Before Angier could respond, a gunshot echoed. Angier fell beside the tanks that held all the men he used to be. His final words trembled through the silence. It was. The applause. And the surviving Borden, holding back tears, whispered to himself, was it worth it? He walked away to take care of the one thing that mattered, his daughter. The curtains fell. The stage turned dark. And the greatest magic rivalry in history came to its tragic end. Greatness is beautiful, but obsession destroys. Two men chased the same dream, to become the best. One sacrificed his life every night. The other sacrificed half his soul. And in the end, they both lost everything. This was The Prestige, a story reminding us that some illusions cost far more than applause. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more.